And that nice Tavertine building with all that nice artwork, whoosh, fallout. Turns it into glass. Nobody's going to be going down that elevator. So, what do you guys want to do about it? Nothing? You want to just complain to them and say, hey, how come, where do you get off? Well, that's the thing. You know, all I can do is tell you this, and I am risking my life, okay? The word's out, all right? It's over. It's out there. I wrote my book, and I didn't want to do this, but here's my unabashed plug for the silly book. Lasers, cavers, of course you know what cavers are in magic. The lasers, of course, was my business. The cavers was my experience with these Bilderberger people. Then magics, of course, is the progression into the world of metaphysics and learning how to use the psychic skills. Okay? I was going to have UFOs in the title too, but I left that out. I thought that was a little too cumbersome, but anyway. So we need to, you know, when I talk about also how I had to learn that lesson about not fighting the oppressor and serving the victim, well, this was for this very reason. Because these guys expected me to raise an army and to go to battle and do war with these people and penetrate their thing and go down below and go to town. All right? And for the longest time, I actually thought that I might even do something like that. And I thought that I would first build up my psychic skills and perhaps raise a whole group of people who are also very skilled psychically. And we would go become psychic warriors and we would root out the vermin. But as I became more metaphysically inclined, I learned, help the guys on the surface. Forget about those guys down there. But that doesn't mean I can't tell you about these people. Okay? So, and that's the enlightenment thing. We want to know about the good and the bad and the ugly. Okay? And this is why they can get away with the crap that they get away with, because they have such an extensive network, this underground government. You know, they can move things beyond borders, and they've got the resources. It's incredible. The technology down there, all the Tesla technology that gave us free energy and free lighting and all this stuff, they've been using it. They keep it to themselves. They don't run wires back and forth to communicate or to make light. They have Tesla technology. So at the very least, we should, you know, if we want to usher in this change, we need to confront these things, and we need to do what we can to make them stop. And at the very least, if that means that we all have to know about it so that we can all focus our energy on it, whatever it takes. But the way I see it, this is the Illuminati's house of cards, and the Getty is the weak link, and they know it. Because if you go down there, if the media says we want answers, show us that this is true, show us that this is not true, they can't. Because this is the can of worms, this is Pandora's box. What do you get when you go down there? First of all, you've got the bunkers, you've got the Nazis, you've got their, dare I say it, the raving Zionist types, you've got Satan worshippers. Oh, Satan worshippers, I forgot about that part. What do you get at the very bottom? The very, very, very bottom is a satanic temple. There is human sacrifice going on down there. Yeah, missing children, missing exploited children. How many, 100,000 children go missing every year, something like that? We all know that the ones in Montauk, you know, everyone who talks about the kids getting, you know, taken around Montauk. Well, they're doing them in L.A. All these kids and people, homeless people in L.A., they're disappearing. They don't have far to go. It's right there. They take them downstairs. You know, I'll tell you, the woman that did the remote viewing, she's kind of a pagan, kind of a witch type person, you know, as many in this community are. They consider themselves witches, and they're not very Christ-oriented. And usually when these people are confronted with something like a satanic altar with blood and the whole 9 yards, they go into the defensive mode. And I've seen this more than once because they always say the same thing. And you really know it's real that when they affirm it, when they start saying stuff like, you know, God and Satan is really the same thing. That's the first thing they'll tell you. They'll say, They'll say, oh, it's okay, God and Satan is the same thing, didn't you know? And I'm like, where have I heard that before? You know, now, that thing I told you, okay, that one line about the Metropolitans, okay, that comes from the protocols from the elders of Zion. There I did it, I said it. I'm sorry, okay, I'm not an anti-Semite, I have lots of Jewish friends, but this book was written 100 years ago. And it's 100% accurate. They describe everything. 100 years ago, they're talking about these undergrounds, these metropolitans. Well, what's the point? Anyway. Sorry for going off on a tangent like that, but I had one of my handlers, the guy, his name is Vince. He's dead now. They heart attacked him. They took him out. You know, this sometimes happens with people who think that they can control me, and they end up, I control them. They get in trouble and they get removed. They get fired because they failed their assignment. Well, I wrote Vince an email, and the only thing in the email was I quoted that one little paragraph from the protocols about the Metropolitans, and he immediately, I said, hey, what do you think of this? And he immediately responded, you know, we're not just Jews, we're also Nazis. Look, see Nazis, right here, Nazis. I'm like, wow. And I thought that was, you know, that knocked me back. That took me a year to get used to the whole idea. A whole year to comprehend that Nazis and Jews could be working side by side. I was so programmed, I couldn't comprehend that idea. So I had to go back and start studying about the Nazis. I learned about Operation Paperclip, the Operation High Jump, New Schwabenland, the Nazi submarines, the Vrills, the Nazi UFOs. So that was a whole other year or two of research just to get caught up to that business. But the thing about Vince is, he said the same thing as this other remote viewer, and it was that it's an affirmation, you know. And see, this is the thing, so you guys got to understand when the politics is a bunch of crap. This Republican and Democrat stuff, it's a bunch of crap. Okay, World War II, that's called a Holocaust. What does the word Holocaust mean? It means blood sacrifice. All those humans were a blood sacrifice, and who did they get sacrificed to? Who wants blood? There's only one entity out there that asks for blood, and it's not the Creator. Okay? Now this really pisses people off, especially when they look at the Old Testament. And I don't want to say, you know, because I have a lot of Jewish friends, they say, well, what about, you know, ancient Hebrews? They did this and they did that. I'm like, well, you know, I'm not going to judge you guys, you know, but my rule of thumb, if there's blood involved, it's the bad guys. Okay, now you guys know the different cultures that sacrifice humans. All right, well, the good guys don't do that.
Dulce on it.
Dulce is soaked in blood. The whole purpose of Dulce is blood. Okay, I'll tell you why, real quick. Now, we discussed the different type of aliens, the service to self entities and the service to other entities. Well, when you go into the fourth density, and this doesn't necessarily apply to the service to other entities because they're more like us, they're human, but when you're talking about little gray guys and reptoids, they tend to have a nutrition requirements that are 50% spiritual and 50% physical. Now, what the physical component is the blood product, which they don't consume, they don't drink it, they actually bathe in it, and they absorb the nutrients through osmosis. They'll have tanks will just, you know, soak in the blood. Well, the spiritual nutrition is called Louch, L-O-O-S-H. This is what they call it. What is Louch? Louch is negative human, emotional, psychic energy. Okay, what is that? The opposite of love. Hate, anger, fear, despair, loneliness, heartbreak, anxiety. When you watch a scary movie, you're generating Louch. When somebody breaks your heart and you're sitting home feeling sorry for yourself, you're producing Louch. They love to get somebody like me upset. That's right. And this is one of the reasons why they like to stick us in these big cities. Keeps us it's like cattle in a stockyard. You know, why would you want to have your cattle scattered across the country? It's much easier to manage them when they're in one little place. Then you can collect that energy really easy, you know. Perhaps the cell phone towers may even be part of that. I mean, I don't know how they collect this energy, but, you know, you've got a place like the Getty built underneath LA County. Can you imagine how much Louch LA probably produces on a daily basis with all the crap that goes on in that city? Ghostbusters, den of iniquity. Well, you know what? All these negative guys, we talk about these reptoids and whatnot, and they feed on this Louch, this negative energy. Well, again, what's the opposite of that? If they need this negative energy to survive, then what's poisonous to them? Love, happiness, joy, lack of fear. So, you know, when someone says, yeah, the nuclear coming, da-da-da, da-da-da, don't focus on all the little details about this is going to happen, this is going to happen, should I build a bunker, should I get food, water, blah, blah, blah. Worry about your soul. Worry about which boat you're going to get on. Remember, this is all about service to self or service to others. Okay, and the other thing that's important about this transition that we're moving into is I like to call it make your own reality day. Okay? Because on a fourth density level, your thoughts become reality on a third density. Okay? And this is why people that are artists and creative, when they see things in their heads and they make music and songs, they hear the music or they can see the picture in their heads before they even create it, that's God-like. That is the true nature of God and creation. And we're blessed to be able to do that. So this is so important. We talked about lucid dreaming. You know, where's our lucid dreaming guy? I don't see him. There he is. Lucid dreaming is an incredibly powerful exercise because you are pumping out light out of your third eye when you do it. And I find myself when I'm driving, I'll start daydreaming, I'll have lucid dreaming. I'm driving, I'm awake, you know, but I'm starting to visualize, I'm thinking about a person, maybe a girl or something, and I see their head and their face in my mind. Next thing I know, street lights are going off. Sometimes a whole string of them down the street. And like, oh, did I do? And it'll kind of wake me up, it'll jar me. And I'm like, why is that? Well, that's because we have a pillar of light coming out of our heads. You can't see it. It's actually white light. And it's not just light, it's also FM, it's all this energy, and it's scalar energy also. But the thing is that the more you work on your psychic skills, the more this energy is going to be projecting and protruding. And when you pray, that's what you're doing. You're sending that image out. And this is why it's important that we watch our intake of aluminum. We use things like this to clean the environment around us. We don't drink fluoride water because we got to get that calcium off our pineal because this is our pipe, and we don't need that clogging of the pipe. We need that stuff to just gush, you know. And that's what I envision. And I'll tell you real quick. You talk about the magnetic waves around the Earth, okay? Well, and I'm not talking about magnetic frequency, but it has to do more with the amount of the lines. And they quantify that in an increment that they call a Tesla unit. Okay, you guys familiar with that? The scientific community just basically decided to name this energy after Tesla, which is a great thing. And they called it a Tesla unit. Well, a human brain, and that isn't even the most powerful organ. The heart actually produces more. But the human brain produces something like 400 units of Tesla. Okay, that may not sound like much, but the greatest amount of Tesla ever recorded on Earth came from a Soviet hydrogen bomb, and I think it put out something like 40,000 Tesla. So if a human can put out 400, and a hydrogen bomb puts out 40,000, what could a million humans do? How many Tesla could a million humans make? And there's what, 6 billion of us on the Earth? What if we all what if we had 6 billion people putting out 400 Tesla minimum? And what if we bump that up to who knows how high? Think of what we could do. We could make our own magnetic field around the Earth. Who cares about polar shift, right? Aliens going to try to bother us? You think they're going to mess with people that are more powerful than hydrogen bombs? I mean, yeah. So, you know, during the Clinton administration, after I had found out about these Getty guys, they tried to get me on the team. So they said, come on, we're all Earth humans here. We're not Republicans, we're not Democrats, Jews, Nazis, whatever. We're all in this together. And they said, help us defend the Earth against the aliens. I thought, okay, all right, let's stick together. Sure, sure. I said, okay, don't shoot down any more planes. I said, I'll work with you guys if you don't shoot down any more planes. That was Flight 800. I said, don't shoot down any more planes. Well, I realized real quick there was nothing that I could make, no super laser, no super gun or whatever, that was ever going to do any good. And real quick I realized it was psychic energy. That was the only way to go. And that's when I went down the path of the metaphysics and started doing everything I could to enhance my own psychic energy. And inadvertently I discovered peace, you know, and the good side, and the light side of light, love and light, and all that good stuff. Anyway, well, I hope you guys learned something today. So yes, the Getty is the big deal. All right, I want you to tell everybody. I want you to light a fire under these people, okay? Because it's us, and I'll tell you, it's the weak link because this is a civilian thing, but it connects to every other base, okay? It goes underneath every border. So I don't care about continuity of government. I don't care about Noah's Ark. I don't care about, you know, condos for the elite, all right, or whatever. Whatever they tell you is crap, all right? They don't care about us. It's like I said, they want us to die, all right? Well, let's get our own house in order. Let's get our own brains working. Turn off the damn TV. Stop eating the fluoride, and start serving others. Okay? You can't start soon enough. You've only got so much time left. If you want a ticket on the right boat out of here, start serving others, because we're going to graduate, and a passing grade requires 51% service to others. Anything less than you fail. Okay? 100% service to others is great. If you can do that, that'd be like Jesus or Gandhi or Mother Teresa, but who can do that? So try to be at least 51%. And if you don't think you're 51%, do a little bit more. And that doesn't mean just serving humans, that means serving animals. Okay? Because they are lower density creatures. And it's the higher densities need to bring the lower densities up. Okay? So be kind to each other, control your egos, be humble, serve others, learn, and teach. And sex is good too. Well, it is. Anything that makes you calm is good. Anything that helps you increase your energy, and anything that helps you balance your chakras and balance your energy, because you need to have equal amounts of male and female energy to be enlightened, and that's awful darn hard to do. That's why we seek out partners to help us balance. And it doesn't just help us balance, it also helps us increase our flow. Okay? But the number one way to increase your flow and increase your psychic skills is service to others. Okay? And real quick, you're going to learn to do healing, you're going to learn to move energy, and you're also going to learn to manifest. And manifest is the most important thing there is, because ultimately, when you get really good, you'll be able to manifest instantaneously. Abracadabra, Portia. Just, that is instantaneous manifestation. And we want to use that as a tool to protect the earth, okay? So when you're manifesting, don't just think Mercedes, new car, girlfriend, house, whatever. Think of how you can serve other people. And don't worry about serving too much, because they'll start serving you, and the universe will give you back twice as much as you put out. So you're going to be in a never-ending battle to try to serve more and more and more, but so what? Okay? Hope you guys enjoyed my little speech.
Thank you, Steven, and we enjoyed it. Hopefully we get more time for tomorrow. Your book is on Amazon, right?
It's on Lulu.com.
Lulu.com, lasers, cavers. Support Steven. Support everybody here. These guys need your help. Is it $25?
$18.95 for the paperback and $8
$18.95 for paper bag. And so now you got to give me a couple of free copies. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. We got 10-minute break music, and Jerry Avalos will talk about lucid dreaming. He's been master of lucid dreaming within... Oh yeah, please help Dennis with his DVDs. All the lectures we made on DVDs today, and you can... they're available now. And the ones we just did, it will give them another hour. So let's run the music. Drew.